Hi there, I'm Brissa Cabe, the Digital Learning Specialist here at LCMS. Welcome to our Appchat for Educators podcast, where we'll explore different apps, instructional strategies, and other digital resources for education. Thanks for tuning in.
This week, I'm talking about numbers and how it transformed my 8th grade social studies classroom. Most of you probably know, whether from your experiences as a teacher or as a student, history is an easy subject to make teacher-centered. And frankly, with so much worldwide bias, so many unreliable sources out there, and just the sheer amount of information that has to be covered in one school year, it often has to be. But even the best storyteller can lack student engagement. And as we know, our kids don't really learn when they aren't engaged. I like to think of myself as one of those great storytellers, always thoughtful of how to craft the tales of American history just right, so that each heart-wrenching issue, each suspenseful decision, and every groundbreaking event had my kids asking for more, even when the bell was about to ring. But oftentimes, even the most compelling stories couldn't always keep my 8th graders fully engaged. I understood the importance of student-centered learning, but honestly, I struggled with delivery of content, especially since there was so much we had to cover throughout the year, and I wanted to ensure that my students were getting the right information. I knew that the traditional sit and get approach wasn't working for that particular group of students like it had with others. But what could I do differently? How could I make history more learner-centered and less about consuming information, while still ensuring my kids were getting exactly what they needed? It was at a C3 session talking with teachers from LCMS when I was finally inspired. Shout out to Laura Johnson here. She's the one who introduced me to something she'd found success with in her classroom, the idea of using numbers to create interactive doodle notes for my students. After looking at some examples of the templates she'd made and some of her students' work, I took Laura's idea back to LCMS with me and dove right in. Now, if you aren't familiar with numbers, at first glance, it's a basic spreadsheet program like Excel or Google Sheets. However, it's actually a much more versatile tool once you dive a little deeper. For example, deleting the tables in a new numbers file gives you an infinite whiteboard to draw on and add content to. You can integrate different types of tables for interactive questioning, including a drop-down menu of choices and checkbox lists. And just like Pages and Keynote, you can embed videos and photos, add audio recordings and dozens of different shapes, and create drawings to compile multiple types of media into one easy-to-navigate place. Now, after playing around with numbers and diving deeper into my curriculum, I quickly made this awesome idea my own. I created a numbers file for each unit and added different tabs based on subclusters from my TEKs within each unit. For example, I used the Lead Forward field guide to guide my creation of Unit 10, the Civil War. In it, I created one numbers file with multiple sheets titled Causes of the Civil War, Characteristics of the North and South, Major Battles, and Significant People, just to name a few. Within each of these sheets, I added guiding questions to explore, incorporated links to reliable digital resources like battle maps or biographies, added differentiated instructions for my kiddos with IEPs, and integrated a host of different activities like drag and drop card sorts, media placeholders for students to embed their own video creations, graphic organizers to complete, fill in the blank paragraph with drop-down menu choices, informational videos, and so much more. I could even add questions that mirrored new item types from STAR 2.0. All of this provided avenues through which my students could not only learn and interact with content in multiple ways, but they could also apply their learning in creative and productive ways as well. Over time, these number notes became more like hyperdocs that promoted self-discovery and creativity, while at the same time guiding my students through the content they needed to learn. Plus, students had a new level of voice and choice in my classroom as they worked through each sheet's content and activities as a whole class, in partners, or at their own pace, really just depending on the rigor and difficulty of that day's topic. While there is so much more I could say about how my students and I use numbers to transform our history classroom, I'll leave off with this. Numbers helped give my students a level of ownership over their learning, while I at the same time was able to ensure they were getting what they needed. Yes, it did take a little extra prep and even creativity on my end, but it was 100% worth it. Numbers helped me more easily make the transition from Sage on the stage to Guide on the side. And no matter the subject area, its dozens of amazing features can make learning more interactive, engaging, and meaningful for everybody involved. And ultimately, I think that's the goal, isn't it? Thanks for listening. Until next time.
If you have a tech tool, a digital learning strategy, or something else that you would love to share, let me know. I would love to have an app chat with you.